What's up, guys? Welcome back to Bring Me Joy-Con. Now today we're going to take a look at Aladdin. Now I know this came in the double pack with The Lion King, but these games are very different than each other, and I thought, why not review them separately? Now I hadn't played these in quite a few years. I, at some point in my life, have played the Super Nintendo version and the Genesis version. When I was younger, the Super Nintendo version, I remember we borrowed it from some friends of ours. I was probably 4 or 5 years old. My brother was very good at it. I think he was 7 or 8 at the time. It's a pretty hard game, and so I remember watching him play it. I remember losing a lot because I was pretty small, but it's a game that kind of stuck in my mind, and I really enjoyed that experience when I was a kid. And so later, when I was in high school, somebody gave me a Genesis for free, and I, of course, had to go to the thrift shop and look for games, and I found Aladdin on the Sega Genesis. That was my first experience with it on the Genesis, and it's a little different. The games do differ, but essentially very similar games, and you know, the mechanics are all the same. Most people will tell you that they prefer the Genesis version because you can use your sword to fight the enemies, but the one I played first was the Super Nintendo version, and you didn't get to swing your sword at these guys. You actually jumped on their heads and threw apples at them. In the Genesis version, you can throw the apples and swing your sword, but you can't do the head bounce thing. So, I don't know, probably just nostalgia, but the Super Nintendo version is the version I prefer. And so when I picked up the Switch copy, I started playing the Genesis version, and at first it took me a minute because I was trying to jump on their heads and couldn't figure it out. But it's a beautiful game. It is just like I remember playing it in high school, and I think that it's definitely worth a playthrough. Probably the coolest thing that they did was add this rewind function, because like I said, these games are pretty hard. They don't really make games like they used to, as far as just platformers and their difficulty level. Most video games that come out on like the Genesis and Super Nintendo and stuff were very hard. Newer games are just kind of designed so that you and your kids can play them together, which is something I appreciate, but I think a lot of people will realize how hard these are if you pick this up, and so that rewind function definitely comes in handy, and it's very cool to see these on a modern console and be able to experience them again. I'm super excited to have them in my Switch collection because really I'm big on nostalgia. You probably know that if you've seen this channel before, and anytime that I can pick up something like this that's a re-release or a remaster, I'm definitely going to pick it up. And also, you know, me and my kids can play these together now, and they can experience these games for the first time. So it's very cool that they've done this, and the game is very well done. I mean, essentially, I imagine it's just like an emulator running the games, because I doubt that they ported it all over to the Switch architecture just to run these. So pretty cool to see, and I really hope that we get some more stuff like this. There are some incredible Mickey games. There's Goof Troop. If you've never played Goof Troop for Super Nintendo, that game is fantastic. So I really hope that everybody buys this and shows them that we like this kind of stuff and we would like more of it, because it's just really fantastic to have all this stuff coming over to the Switch and have it portably or on your TV, but with, you know, the slight graphics upgrade, it's really not a lot's changed, but it just looks crisper, and it's just very nice to have in the Switch collection. Another thing that you can do is play the Game Boy version on here. I believe that they call it the mobile version. It's really hard to play because of the really terrible graphics, and it wasn't a first-party Nintendo title, so you know, a lot of people for the Game Boy struggled with writing code and just making the games look nice for the Game Boy. And so it's just like you see things like Zelda and it's fantastic looking on the Game Boy. And you could play that nowadays and still really enjoy it. But in my experience playing this Aladdin version of the Game Boy copy is just it's just really hard to play. It's really terrible to go back and experience. So maybe if I were nostalgic for it, it would be different. But to me personally, I never played that version when I was young, and it just kind of sucks. And I will end it on a positive note. You can actually click to watch the movie version of this. So essentially watch someone play through the game. And at any point that you want to jump in and take over, you can pause it and jump into the game and start playing yourself. So if you're struggling with, say, the 3rd level or the 4th level and you just can't do it, even with that rewind function and unlimited tries, and you still can't do it, which there were a few parts in this game that, believe it or not, did take me 10 to 15 tries, even with the rewind function. So you can do that. You can pause it and jump in, and so you can let them beat that part for you and jump in and get past it, which is pretty cool. But I don't really like to do it because I feel like I'm cheating the system then, and it just doesn't give you that same satisfaction of doing it yourself. So, guys, if you enjoy gameplay reviews, if you enjoy live streams, if you enjoy gaming news, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, join us on Discord if you like to chat about video games in general, just any video games. It doesn't even have to be Switch stuff. I just really enjoy any and all video games, and I'm getting my game room set up now, so I will soon be dropping a video on that. I just recently did a my Switch collection so far video, so if you want to see what I've got in my Switch collection, check that video out. Have an awesome day.